Hola, hola jóvenes, primero que nada pues quiero decirles que tengan muy bonita tarde-noche. Este va a ser nuestro primer video que vamos a grabar para ustedes, que voy a subir al Drive, a la plataforma. Lo van a tener ustedes visible durante todo el tiempo. ¿Para qué? Para que pues sea para ustedes más sencillo, más fácil el poder acceder y no tengamos esa situación o el pretexto de que pues entrar a una clase en línea y pues se nos cayó el internet, profe, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces el primer tema que vamos a trabajar el día de hoy es Countable and Uncountable Nouns, and let's this started, okay? So welcome to the jungle. So as you can notice, today we're just going to be working with countable and uncountable nouns. As you can see, I have my board over here, but also I have here some information that is going to be appearing on your screen. This was the first homework that I asked you for, that I asked you to look forward and have this information on your notebooks, but also you're going to take pictures and you're going to upload it to your Drive, and the one that you have over there, the one that we've been working with. First of all, in order to start with there is one single word that we need to identify. Some of you already had this class with me, but some of you doesn't. Okay, so first of all, my first concept that you're going to see over there on your screen is what is a noun? What is a noun? Yes. I already know that some of you are going to tell me, okay, teacher, a noun is sustantivo in Spanish. Yes, you are going to tell me that. But that is not the problem over here. You know, the situation is that you need to know the concepts in English, okay? So let me tell you that a noun is a name that you give to an object, to an animal, to a person, etc., etc. And you are going to see it over here. So as you can notice, then, what is a noun? Well, a noun can be a person. As you can notice over there, as you can notice, you have a person, which is the teacher, which is a student, cook, a child. Can be a place over here, a place like a lake, Africa, store, or home. A thing can be an animal or can be any object that we have. For example, a phone, a desk, a tree, a car, a cat. But also we have an idea or a concept, like a thought, success, or peace. Over there you have it. Okay. I'm sorry. I need to drink a little bit of my Pau Pau or Humex. Remember that? It's soda, it's not Pau Pau, because then you're gonna be like, the teacher was drinking in the class and he didn't invite us. Well, I'm gonna invite you a beer, but a root beer, not a real one, okay? So when we see us finally one more time. So I hope that this concept is clear for you. So in other words, what is a noun? As you can notice, a noun is the name that you give to a person, to an object, to an animal, or to a concept or an idea. Okay? So to continue with this, we are gonna go with the following. So first of all, as our class talks about the concept of countable and uncountable nouns, we're gonna have the following over here. First of all, what are those, teacher? What are countable? What are no countable nouns? First of all, the main idea that we are working with over here is that we are talking about any object, any person, any animal, any idea. But they are divided in both sections that I told you, countable and uncountable nouns. Categories, sorry. Countable nouns, well, the easy way to describe countable nouns is that we said that they have a singular and a plural form. They have both ways, okay? They have both forms. So they can be counted easily with numbers. For example, you can say an apple, or you can say 2 apples, you can say a banana, or you can say 7 bananas. Uncountable nouns, the difference with those is that they are difficult to count with numbers, or almost impossible if we can say it like that. So then, remember that I have the two categories. I'm gonna have over here countable nouns, and I'm going to have uncountable nouns. I hope you can see it. Countable and uncountable nouns. I hope you can see it well over there. Okay? So it's not important to see me, but it is important to see this. Remember, I told you, countable nouns, basically you can say countable nouns, plural nouns. That's a rule that I always say. So all the countables, they have a plural form. Okay? Uncountable nouns, they only have singular form because it is impossible to count them with numbers. You need other words to count them, like quantifiers or units of measurement. But we're going to be working with those in the next class. Okay? Uncountable nouns are difficult, so, and they have only singular form. In other words, I mean, in Spanish we have many words that in English are not the same. For example, in Spanish you say un pan, dos panes, tres panes, but that is not correct. Because you're not counting the amount of bread, you're counting the pieces of bread, so which is different. So that's why in English you say bread is not countable. You count the pieces, but not the bread. Okay? For example, water. Like you say, teacher, yes, when you are in a problem, don't you say waters? No, that is another way. So you say aguas, like in Spanish, when something is going to happen, but not like waters, like in English, because it's another stuff. So you say water, but you don't say one water, two waters, three waters. It's not possible because water is not countable. In other words, the way that we can identify what is countable or non-countable, well, let me tell you that all of the liquids are not countable. All of the liquids are not countable. Liquids, remember, like water, juice, milk, etc., etc. All of the small particles, the very small particles, are not countable. For example, sugar. You don't go to the store and you say to the lady or to the man over there, you don't say, give me 300 sugars. It's not correct. So you say a kilo of sugar. Okay? But why? Because they are very small particles. Okay? So remember, sugar. I'm just going to put it over here. All of the small particles like sugar, coffee, etc., etc. Okay? Basically, some concepts or ideas, sometimes they are not countable. For example, love. Love is not countable, but you don't say one love, two loves, three loves. Okay? It's not like possible, but we can say it like that. Money is not countable. You say, yes, teacher, it's countable because I can say I have 300 pesos. Yes, but you're not counting the money, you're counting the pesos. So it's different, I'm sorry. Because I don't say I have 3 monies or 4 monies or 5 monies. Okay? So I hope you understand the concept over there. Because you don't say, like in Spanish, you say me da un agua, but that is not correct. Because you say a glass of water, or you can say a bottle of water. So you're using a different word to make it countable. Okay? So I hope you understand that. Remember that uncountable nouns, it is not possible to count uncountable nouns because they have only singular form. Some of the examples that I was telling you is like bread, meat, okay, milk, water, coffee, tea, fish. We're going to be explaining this in more detail. I'm so sorry if I appear and disappear sometimes from here from the screen, but I'm just trying to do it in this way that I have a split like that the board, and I have over there, as you can notice, all of the information that I want you to take notes about it. Okay? Another way to define the countable or uncountable nouns is like this. With countable nouns, you can use the words a or the words an to make it singular. As you can notice over there, you say an apple or you say a banana. So you can say a or an to make it singular only with countable nouns in this case. Okay? They have a plural form. Remember that I told you they have plural form. For example, 2 bananas, 3 apples. And to work with this, you can use some words, in this case like there is and there are, to refer to the existence of something. It can be singular, it can be plural. So there is for singular, only one. And there are is for plural, so you can say 2 or more. Remember that you say there is only for one thing because it's singular. And you say there are for the plural form. Okay? So remember, they are talking about the existence of something. And there is and there are in Spanish, both of them, they mean haber, like I. For example, if you say, there is a teacher in front of the camera, so you're saying, I am teacher. So, but if I say, there are many students over there, so I'm talking about the plural, okay? And I say, hay muchos estudiantes. So, that is the way that we're just going to be working with it. So remember that they can have a singular form and a plural form. There is for the singular and there are for the plural. In the plural form, they have some words that we can add. Those words are called quantifiers. But I told you that we are going to be working with them more in detail. Okay? So for example, you can say some, many, a lot, lots of, a few, etc., etc. And we can use the question form how many to ask for the quantity of something, the amount. Okay? Within the uncountable nouns, the difference is that they don't have a or an before the noun. Only and only with countable nouns, as I was telling you over there, as you can notice in this part. So uncountable nouns, they don't use a or then don't use an. Never. Okay? So you can say over here that they don't have a plural form. Remember that I've been telling you many times, no tienen forma plural. And the only form that we can use in this case is there is to talk about the existence of something. But there is one thing that they have in common. Here, as you can notice, you can say some. Some is also used with the countable nouns. Okay? Much is similar to many. Many is for plural, but much is only for uncountable nouns. Okay? A lot of you can use in both, in countable and non countable. And a little is only for non countables. Okay? But a few is for countable. So most of the categories that we're just going to be working with over here are uncountable nouns. Liquids are uncountable nouns. Remember that I told you. So the question form to ask for the amount whenever you're working with uncountable nouns is how much. How much and how many, they are similar in meaning because they how many is for plural, so that means cuantos, cuantas. But how much is for singular, and that means cuánto. O can be used also to ask for the cost of something. But in this case, we're talking about only for the amount. I hope this is clear for you. So let's continue a little bit. As you can notice that I told you that the use of them have different situations. Remember that we were working with food. I don't know if you remember that. The vocabulary that we had over there on the different worksheets that I gave you at the very beginning of the semester. Okay? Well, if you don't have them, well, let me tell you, here are some examples. Within the food, you can say a bun, a sandwich, an apple, an orange, a burger, fries in plural, eggs, salad. You can say, teacher, the salad is countable. Well, we are going to be working with that. Vegetables, cookies, potatoes, tomato. You say, well, teacher, is that correct to say a tomato and tomatoes? Or so, well, there are two different forms that you can pronounce it in plural, but in singular is only one. You say a carrot, a hot dog. I'm hungry. If you have a hot dog, please give me one, because really I'm starving. I'm hungry. Candies, olives, peanuts, pancakes. You say onions, watermelon, a pea, grapes, cherries, etc., etc. Within the uncountables, remember that I told you that most of the categories are not countables. For example, bread is categorizing something in general. Fruit is categorizing different types of fruit. Juice is a liquid. Remember that I told you. Meat, well, meat is in a general way, but you can say a stick, so it's a piece of meat, so that is different. Okay, you say rice, cereal, jam, milk, coffee. Remember that I told you about the small particles, so like sugar, like the flour, milk, salt, so all of the liquids. Remember, soup, tea, categories like cheese, so you say pasta, honey, water, butter, seafood, and mustard. So as you can notice, we are working over here with the different ways that you can categorize over here the food, countable and not countable. Okay? So then, I know that here in Spanish you can say a cheese and it's only one. Like in Spanish you say un queso. Okay? But one more time, you have to say a kilo of queso, a bag of cheese, etc., etc. Okay? So then that's the way that you can count them. Now, to continue with this, here we go with the difficult part of this topic. Because I know that nobody likes grammar, okay? Nobody likes spelling rules. But to talk about the plural nouns, remember, countable nouns, plural nouns, okay? To talk about plural nouns, we have some rules. Remember that in Spanish, usually you only add the letter S to the plural. For example, in Spanish, I can say un marcador, and you say dos marcadores, okay? So you say una persona, dos personas, and so on. But in English it's different, okay? So we have different rules that we need to study in order to identify when a word can be a plural form or no, okay? I have some rules for you over here. As you can notice, rule number one. In the rule number one, add the letter S at the end of the nouns, most of the nouns. For example, you say daughter, guess what? You're going to say daughters. You say boy, you're going to say boys. Like in Spanish, only the letter S. Rock, rocks. Arm, arms. Rule, rules. Son, sons. Okay? So, the rule number two, it says add ES when the word or the noun finishes with the letter S, CH, SH, X, or Z. For example, address, you're going to say addresses. Okay? You're going to say branch. Okay? So you say branches. Okay? Branch, branches. As you can notice over here. Quiz, quizzes. Eyelash, it finishes in sh, so you're going to say eyelashes. Prefix, prefixes. Virus, viruses. The rule number 3, endings vowel plus o. Just add the letter s. Remember, it has to be a vowel plus the letter o. Only the letter s, because we have another rule that is similar. For example, folio, you say folios. Tattoo, tattoos. You say zoo, zoos. Duo, duos. Bamboo, bamboos. Radio, radios. But the rule number 4 is similar, but the difference is that when the word finishes with a consonant plus the letter o, you're going to add es. Check the difference. In the rule number 3 is vowel plus o is only the letter s. When it has a consonant plus the letter o, you're going to say es. For example, tomato, tomatoes is consonant and the letter o, so you say tomatoes. Echo, echoes. Potato, potatoes. There are some words that are exemptions to the rule, as always. For example, casino, you don't say casinos, is not correct. You only add the letter s, casinos. Piano, pianos. Disco, discus. Okay? So the number 5 is when they finish in a vowel plus the letter y. When they finish in a vowel plus the letter y, you only add the letter s. We have another rule that is similar. Okay? You say toy, toys. Play, plays. Ploys, I'm sorry. Monkey, monkeys. Birthday, birthday. Alley, alley. Turkey, turkey. Okay? As you can notice, these 3, birthday, birthday, alley, alley, turkey, turkey, so they can have a plural form just by adding the letter s. The number 6, it says, when they end in a consonant plus a y is different. Pay attention to that. In the number 5, they say vowel plus y. When you have a vowel plus y, you only add the letter s to make it plural. But when you have the consonant plus y, you are going to remove, you're going to take away the letter y, and you are going to add ies. As you can notice, I have some examples for you over here. You can say city, consonant and y. In a plural, you're going to say cities. Baby, babies. Army, armies. Party, parties. So we need some parties after the quarantine ends. Okay, so we're gonna make a lot of parties, but only with pow pow, remember. Theory is gonna be theories. Sky is gonna be skies. As you can notice, I want to make an emphasis one more time because there are in here some rules that are similar but different. The rule number 3 and the rule number 4, they are similar but they are different. In the number 3 is vowel plus o, only the letter s. In the number 4, consonant plus o, you are going to add es. But there are some exemptions. Remember that. The number 5 and the number 6, they are similar but different. So one more time, vowel plus y, only the letter s. When you say consonant plus y, ies. Okay? So let's continue then with this. For the number 7 is a new one. I remember that I already explained some of this, not like complete like I'm doing it right now, but remember this part that I am teaching you, the part that it's over there, all of the plural noun, the rules, it's a homework. Remember that, so I'm just helping you a little bit with it. The number 7, as you can notice, it says ending in f or fe. Ending in f or fe. That's a little bit difficult to understand, but there are some words that they finish with those letters. For example, you say calf, okay? As you can notice, calf over here finishes with the letter F. To make it plural, you're going to change it to B-E-S. Calves. Half, halves. Wife, wives. So I wish I can have like 7 wives, but no one. Wolf, wolves. Shelf, shelves. Loaf, loaves. But there are some exemptions, as always, to the rules. For example, roof, roof. Chief, chiefs. Oaf, oafs. Briefs, briefs. So these are exemptions to the rule. In English, my friends, there are also irregular nouns. Like the verbs, you have regular verbs, irregular verbs. We have regular nouns and irregular nouns. What is that? Irregular nouns, they don't follow. Irregular nouns, the irregular nouns, they don't follow any rule. Like the others, okay? Some of them can, but not always, okay? I'm sorry, my friends. It's very hot over here, so I choose this place because the light is better, but I'm just melting away, okay? So irregular nouns, as I told you, they don't follow the rules that we have seen before. For example, you say a person, here, person, you say people, mouse, mice. But you know what? I mean, here with mouse, there is one thing that not almost all of the people tells you how to use it. So I already know that you know the animal, right? Yes, so you have the animal. With the animal you say mouse, but in plural you say mice. But what about when you're talking about the computer hardware? Okay, you say mouse, but in plural, guess what? You're going to say mouses. Have that in mind. So you say mice for the animal in plural, and you say mouses for the hardware in plural. Okay? So we have more over there. You have tooth, as you can notice, over there, over here, I'm sorry, over here. So in the irregular nouns, I have person, people, mouse, mice. You say tooth, teeth. Foot, feet. You say child, children. It's not children's. It's not child's. It's not correct. Cactus, be careful because you say cacti. Okay? Appendix, appendixes. Ox, oxen. Okay, ox is an animal. That means buey. Okay? No, and it's not my brother, or that you say my brother is an ox. No, that's different. Okay? So you say ox, oxen, cliff, cliffs, toughs, scuff, scuffs, sniff, sniffs. And there are others that they don't change, like you can see over there. So you say sheep, sheep. You say serious, serious. You say species, species in singular and plural. Seer, and you say deer. Cod, you say cod or cods. You say shrimp, fish. Fish can be applied in a different form, okay? But we're gonna explain that later on. So you say quail, quails. Okay? So those are the 7 basic rules that we have over here, but also we have irregular and the ones that they mostly don't change. Okay? So, just in order to continue with this, remember that I told you at the very beginning that you can say there is or there are for talking about singular or plural. Okay? We have affirmative, we have negative, and we have interrogative, as you can notice over here, and I'm going to show you. Affirmative with a and an, remember, they are for plural. Okay? Singular and plural. There is a sofa in the room. There is an armchair in the room. You can say also some or any, but you say there are some chairs in the room. For the negatives, you're going to say there isn't a sofa in the room, there isn't an armchair in the room, but the first thing that always all of the teachers tell you that you can use any with negatives, okay, and any with interrogatives. Okay, we're gonna start from there, and I'm gonna explain something different later. You say there aren't any chairs in the room. With the interrogatives, remember that you change the order, okay? In the affirmative, there is. In the interrogative, is there. So you say, is there a sofa in the room? Or you say, is there an armchair in the room? And in the interrogative, are there any chairs in the room? So focus on this. You have affirmatives, you have negatives, and you have interrogatives over there. Okay? So let's continue a little bit. With there is and there are, you can use a, you can use an, you can use some, or you can use any. A and an are used with countable nouns in singular form. Example, there is a plum, or there is an apple. Remember, talking about food. So you say some, use it with countable and uncountable in affirmative sentences. That is what all of the teachers tell you always. Okay, I'm gonna change your mind a little bit later, but you say there is some sugar, or there are some apples. Okay, and any, all of the teachers will always tell you, use it with countable and uncountables in negative and interrogatives. That's what always we say. Example, there isn't any sugar, there aren't any apples, is there any sugar, are there any apples? And here we go with this. Just remember, this is what all of the teachers always tell you. Okay, so let's go. A and an, as far as you remember, you can say a and an for singular with countable nouns. Remember that I told you it's not possible to say a or an with no countable nouns, only with countable nouns in the singular form. But the rule says the following. You use a plus a consonant. As you can notice over there, a plus a consonant, but the problem is not the beginning of the word, but the sound. Okay, for example, you say a plus a consonant sound at the beginning of the next word. For example, you say lamp is a consonant sound. Okay, lamp. You say a lamp. You say a door, so it's a consonant sound. Okay, but what about if I say this? University. You're gonna say, Teacher Juan, you're crazy, because university begins with a vowel. Yes, the word begins with a vowel, but the sound is not university. The sound is university. So the sound is like the letter J. So remember, then you use a plus a consonant sound at the beginning of the word. Okay? You're going to use an. You're going to use an, as you have over there, with the vowel sound. It's exactly the same. It's a vowel sound at the beginning of the word. Not because it's only a vowel, the sound it's exactly the same. For example, you say an apple, you say an elephant. I'm going to erase this so we can continue. So I say an apple. Remember, that is the vowel sound at the beginning of the word. An apple. So you say an elephant. But what about if I say an hour? Oh my God, teacher, that begins with a consonant. Yes, but the sound is not consonant. You say hour. is a vowel sound, okay? So it's different when you say house, because a house. You don't say an house, okay? Be careful with that. So one more time, remember, everything depends on the beginning of the word but the sound. If the sound is consonant and is singular and countable, you're going to say a. When the sound is a vowel, singular and countable, you're going to say an. So here we go with the different thing that I told you. I want you to pay attention to what is over here. Remember, I told you that always you use some with affirmatives. And I told you that you use any with negatives and interrogatives. Remember that? Let's say this. You can say some in affirmative, in positive sentences. For example, there are some flowers in the vase, or he needs some medicine. But there are exemptions to this rule. Some can also be used in questions. Pay attention to this. If you are offering something to a person or asking for something by thinking the answer is yes, or a hope for such an answer, you are going to say some. Offering, would you like some coffee? So you're thinking that the person is going to say yes, or you hope that the person accepts what you are offering. It's not correct, would you like any coffee? No, not in this way. Okay? So when you are offering something, or when you are thinking that the answer is going to be yes, or you hope that the answer is going to be yes, then you use some in the question. Any, well, always, the teachers, they tell you, any is only for negatives and interrogatives. But let's see over here. Any is generally used in negative sentences. There aren't any students in the school. I don't want to drink any juice. Any is used also in questions. Always the teachers tell you that, and that is correct. Do we have any bread in the house? Remember that we're talking about food. That's why I'm using that vocabulary. He hasn't received any email yet. But there is one exception to the rule, that you can say any in positive sentences, in affirmative sentences. How is that, teacher? Don't get me confused. Well, those are exemptions to the rules, and that's why I need you to pay attention to this description and to this description that I put over there. And it says, any can only be used in a positive way or in a positive sentence if it is used with conjunctions. Conjunctions are words that connect two different sentences. Okay? For example, the conjunctions that we are using over here are going to be if and whether. If and whether are synonyms, and they mean see. For example, we will always help you if you have any problems. Siempre te ayudaremos si tienes algún problema. It's not correct to say we will always help you if you have some problems. In this case, it's not possible. Why? Because you're using that little word that connects the two sentences. If or whether. Pay attention to that, because in your next exam, guess what? The teacher Juan is gonna put some of the questions using this. Okay? I hope you have understood this topic. And just in order to generalize this, a noun. What is a noun? Help me out. A person, an animal, an object, a concept, a thing. The nouns can be countable or not countable. Countable have singular and plural. Okay? The not countable, they have only singular. There are 7 basic rules for the plural nouns. We have irregular nouns, but also we have some of them that they never change. Okay? Usually you use there is and there are to talk about the existence of something. Remember, there is for singular with countable and uncountable, and there are with countable nouns. You can use a and only with singular countable nouns. Never use a or an with uncountable nouns. Some and any. Some usually, as all of the teachers said, are used with positive sentences. Any with negatives and interrogatives. But there are exemptions for both of them. With some, you can use it in questions when you're offering something on when you know the answer is going to be yes, or you think so. Okay? And any can be used in affirmatives as an exemption to the rule when you are using a conjunction, like if or whether. Okay? Remember that because those are key points that we are going to have. So, I hope you have understood the class. I know that this is so far like being in a real class in front of you. And if you have any questions, you already know what is the time that I'm just going to be answering for those questions. Remember that for any questions about the topics that we are working with, remember it's 3 to 5 p.m. only, and only the days that you upload the material. Okay, so this video is going to be soon over there in your drive, and wait for the others. But remember, when the teacher says class is over, but see you next time, you are not sure if you have one less thing to worry about or one more. So see you soon, and remember my phrase, the one that I like it a lot when you have an exam. I'm not gonna say it, but you know it. And the other one, pórtate mal, pero cuídate muy bien. See you next time.